Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'll bring back my Am I series where I ask myself a question, am I this or that, and we'll find out a little bit more about me. I'll tell a little bit of a story. So today's question I wanted to tackle almost as a gatekeeper for like the future videos that I would like to make. It's all about relating to owning things and maybe having too many things. So my question is, am I a hoarder? I know it might be a little bit of a controversial topic. Over the years, we've seen a rise in shows and books about decluttering your life and making the most of the life that you have and most of the things that you own. So I just wanted to look back and see, am I still a hoarder? Am I a hoarder at all? Have I ever been a hoarder? What are my experiences with it and how far back does it go? So let's jump right in. So let's start with defining what does hoarding mean. Official definition is the practice of collecting or accumulating something, or the compulsion to continually accumulate a variety of items that are often considered useless or worthless by others, accompanied by an inability to discard the items without great distress. So basically, collecting things and not being able to get rid of them. So I usually answer the question straight away, but let's look a little bit at the background. I grew up mostly with my grandma for about 8 years of my life, and my grandma and an aunt that used to live near us both could be considered hoarders. They had hoarding tendencies. Our house would always be full of things that we couldn't get rid of or we kept for X, Y, and Z purpose. So I definitely feel like growing up surrounded by people who do something like that can inevitably influence your own decisions and your own ways of doing things. So then growing up as even a kid or a teen, I started seeing more and more hoarding tendencies. I held on to everything I could, basically. Newspapers, magazines, old toys, school supplies, school work sheets and papers and notebooks, everything that I could hold on to that had any kind of meaning to me, even if it was just the smallest one, I kept it. You can imagine that with hoarding comes clutter in a way, or you kind of run out of space really quickly. And I have experienced that multiple times because I remember when I had my own room as a teen, I started getting more and more stuff in it, and suddenly there was no space to put the stuff in. And I remember going through multiple times decluttering my life and decluttering my space, and then would still end up with loads of stuff. But how I would say to myself and justify it is that, oh, I remember this from this particular moment, or this sparks that kind of memory, or this, I might need this one day. You know, we all have that feeling. And that is the problem. You can't get rid of anything because you have a memory of it. You might need it one day. But at the end of the day, if you're not using it, what's the point? Let's jump a few years ahead. I'm 19, 20, I'm living with my mum in her house, and this is my first year living in London. What do I get that's free and comes out every day and is basically fueling my hoarding? The Metro newspaper. Yes, you heard me right. The free newspaper that you'll get walking to the tube station. It's free, it's printed every day, it just has a bunch of nonsense news in it. Had like comic strips and like showbiz news and everything. And I ended up with underneath my bed being filled with Metro newspaper. Until I just realized that I didn't have any need for it and just chucked it all away. And it came after like 2 or 3 years of just holding on to them for whatever reason. And just realizing that no, that paper doesn't bring me joy, doesn't spark anything, doesn't make me feel anything, so why am I holding on to it? So yes, I can say that I used to be a bit of a hoarder. I definitely had hoarding tendencies. I would definitely keep something and hold on to things for no apparent reason. 3 or 4 years ago is when I had a little bit of a switch. I don't know what happened. I think it was talking to other people, it was seeing other things, it was finding new perspectives in life, and maybe also growing up a little bit. Sounds really cheesy, but yes, it's true. I realized that there was no need to hold on to those things. They were not making my life any better. They were just weighing me down. So I I think decluttered my childhood home at least like 4 times now, and every time I get rid of more and more things, and now when I go back again, I know that I want to get rid of more things to just free up my space even more, because I have realized that I don't need to hold on to those memories anymore, because they're still there. They don't need that trigger to come out. I can access them whenever I want to, if only I just needed them, because apparently those memories are not the best or the most important memories. They're just there because they happen in my life and those things trigger them. But it's so much nicer not to have that. And I will say that I haven't read the KonMari book or the Marie Kondo book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, but I do own it. But I've seen the TV show that she made, and I have watched multiple videos of other people decluttering their life and all about the basics that she teaches you in the book. So I know that I have definitely implemented that in certain ways. I fold my t-shirts that way, and I do now, after years and years of decluttering every part of my life. So I think I've told you as well that while in lockdown, I have actually decluttered my current possessions 3 times. That is ridiculous, but it's true. Every time you go through them, you realize that there is something that you need to keep, or that's something that you don't want to keep at all. And you realize that the connection that you have with those things is actually, it doesn't matter, and connections with people are more important than things. And at the end of the day, if there's anything you could take away from this video, is that it's better to use the things that you just own them and wait for them to get used. It's almost as if let's say you bought a car and you just left it to sit there. Or if you bought a phone and you just left it to sit there because it's too precious to use, it's too special, you can't possibly destroy it because it's so important. So you would buy 3 phones, so you use one and then maybe you'll save the other ones for later. Just use what you have. Surround yourself with things that you want to use and you're happy to use, and if needed, you can replace it. Don't hoard 3 or 4 or 5, don't hold on to them. And I'm not telling you to like throw away everything that you own. That's not what I do. I still own things, but there are much more curated things that I own. I'm getting slowly to the point where the more I get rid of things, the happier I feel and the more lightweight I feel. Also, as like a funny side note, I know you still haven't seen my The Last of Us Part 2 review because I still haven't filmed it. I don't know why. Anyway, that game actually made me feel like I want to get rid of more stuff than even before, because can you imagine if something happened? We already had a pandemic, and we're still going through a pandemic. What if something else happened to the point where you can't own anything and you have to just have a very small amount of things that you can use, and you only allowed 1 backpack? What would you have in that backpack? And that idea has really just freed my mind and allowed me to just be able to let go of things. And there's a fantastic book as well called Dödstanding. I'm probably butchering it. It's a Swedish word for a gentle art of death cleaning. All about the idea that when you get to a certain point in life where you're like close to retiring, and if you have children or you want to pass on some of your things, what things would those people actually value if you left them? And what things you could get rid of, do not have other people go through your things and just throw them away after you've died. And I think that's such an important idea in our day-to-day life in this kind of generation, that think of all the things that you see in your parents' houses, your grandparents' houses, and you think, oh, that's so much trash, like I don't want to go through that when the time comes. So why can't the people who own these right now get rid of them before you have to deal with them, right? So I think there's truth to it. And also, to plug another one of my favorite shows, Queer Eye, 5 guys go to people's houses and change their lives a little bit, help them to be better people, help them to become themselves more. And you can see that a lot of people just own a bunch of crap. And once you get rid of that crap, you can actually see your room or see your space and actually enjoy it and do something with it. Or if the idea of minimalism has been circulating around the internet a lot, and I might not ever be a minimalist, but I do buy into a lot of the ideas that it gives us. And if you think about it, the less you own, the better you feel, like I mentioned. So opening yourself up to not being weighed down by the items that you have does free up your mind to be able to let you be more creative and more happy in life. Trust me, I like things, and books, one of those things, bring me loads of joy. I can't get rid of books. But I have also gotten to a point where when I look at my shelves and I think, oh, these books don't bring me joy anymore, whether I've read them or not, unhauling. Unhauling is an option. And as I will be moving at the end of the month, well, it's like 3 weeks now, I will probably do an unhaul, and it's kind of making me feel a little bit uneasy, but at the same time, why not? They probably weigh me down because I want to read them one day. Life is too short, you might not be able to get to them. Am I a hoarder? Yes, but not anymore. I used to be. And I think I'm on a recovery journey. I'm on a journey to becoming less of a hoarder and more of a minimalist, or somewhere a healthy in between. Please do your own research. Please don't take my words as some sort of like an amen, a thing to preach. I do how I feel is better for me. If in the past, collecting and hoarding and owning those things brought me joy that back then, or did something for me, now coming out of it, it makes a difference and it feels like that was me then, but that is not me now. So I might be throwing all these words at you: hoarding, minimalist, good, bad, perfectionist, whatever. Just do what feels right for you and do what makes you happy and what sparks joy in your life. Thank you for listening to me ramble about owning things, and maybe it has inspired you to do some decluttering in your life as well. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you feel like, and I see you in my next one. Bye.